Welcome to part 2 of section 5, fabrication. We're going to go into making our own fabric for Clo3D now. For that, we're going to be using Photoshop. The first thing I ended up doing was choosing the fabric I wanted to recreate. So I have this hickory stripe cotton from Japan that I love and want to be able to recreate. So I went outside and took a picture as parallel as I could to the fabric. I had it outside in natural light to help get the color accuracy. And in shade so that you don't get harsh lighting. So now I'm going to open this in Photoshop and we're going to look for any areas that look like they're the most consistent. So like you can see from up here, this is quite a dark corner and this is quite a light corner. So I would want to make sure I pull just from sections with similar lighting. You also want to pull a section that is kind of square. So like if I pulled from over here, you would have this little dimple repeated throughout the fabric. So I'm going to open this in Photoshop. Here we go. And so I'm going to, let's select something over here. I think this section looks pretty good. Let's see. This looks pretty even. And you want, or maybe I go over here. Yeah. Let's go over here. You want to pull a section that is big enough where you have enough to work with, but not so big that you're getting little issues. So I'm going to pull from here. I do want to make a square. So let's do this. So now I'm going to crop this to this size. Okay. So I know that this picture is a lot bigger than the fabric that I have. I'm gonna unlock this because I have my rulers up here and you can see that this one little section is almost 6 inches, which is quite a lot. See, I have my ruler up here and I know that it's not that big in real life. So I'm taking my little see-through ruler and we're going to see how wide one of these repeats is. And I have it as about 3/16. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I actually didn't do this right. I didn't pull from, I didn't start at the end of a white section. Let's see, let's go over here. It is a little bit of trial and error. I'm going to try to go right into the center of a white strip. Okay. Okay, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 repeats, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or is it 7? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yes. Okay, so now we're going to multiply 7 times 3/16. And what does that get us? 1.3125. All right, so now we're going to try to resize this to be 1.3125 inches. So I'm actually going to make a new board that is 1.3125 inches. I could have done this a little bit of an easier way, but we're just gonna keep doing this. All right, let's zoom in here. And so now what we wanna do is make sure that this doesn't have any visible repeats anywhere. So what I'm gonna do is we are going to shrink this down to the size of the canvas. All right, ooh, this is very pixelated. Okay, we're going to make a few copies of this. We're gonna make 4 copies. And each one you're going to drag, out to one of the 4 corners of our file. There we go. So this is actually a pretty good repeat. The center line here is a little skewed, so we're gonna need to work on that a little bit. So I'm actually just going to sit here and just like play. I'm gonna adjust a little manually. There's a little bit of a dark spot here. So I'm actually gonna go in here and do some cloning with my clone tool over here, which is S on your keyboard. Bring that size down a little. And I'm just going to, in line with where I'm going, I'm just gonna do some cloning here. How do we think that looks? Okay, here I still see a bit of warping. So let's try this again. You can transform it So if you want to get in here and pull this, oops, you have to have that as the top layer so you can actually see what you're doing. Here we go. We can pull this and try to get it to be in the right spot. So I actually think that's pretty good. So now that I have those, I'm going to merge all of these layers. One little section does look kind of fuzzy now though, because I did that warping. So I'm actually gonna undo that. I don't like how that worked. I'm just gonna keep playing around with it manually. And so you can also clone from one layer to another. So I'm gonna like start the clone here and move down to this layer and clone this way. And that can sometimes help. I don't know how much that's really helping. I might actually just want to move it in a little bit. That was a problem. And now these, I'm going to just scoot over as well. There we go. Just a little bit more. All right. So there are a ton of ways you can do this, obviously. This is just the way that I am going about doing it. Feel free to choose whatever works the best for you. All right, so now that we have a pretty good repeat, I'm going to merge them. Okay, so now I'm going to open a new file. Let's say I want a 5-inch wide swatch. Copy this, bring it in, and we're going to just place it over and over just to ensure that we don't have any visible repeats. Okay, so then I'm going to select all of these. Again, I am sure that there are many more efficient ways to do this, but this is the way that I was taught, and this is the way that I'm teaching you. So it's pretty good. It's not perfect, but I am satisfied that this is not too off, I think. Okay, there is a little bit of shading here still. So if that is the case, then you would go back in here and we're gonna do the same process over again, where you bring this up to the top, you make a clone, bring that to the bottom, and it looks like I just have a little issue right in here. So now I would actually go back in with the warp and I would just pull this until it matches. And anytime I move this, it is very pixelated, so it's going very slow. Let's pull this over just a little. Okay, that pulled it out a little too much. Moving 1 pixel at a time is quite challenging. Don't like how that came out. I'm gonna undo that. Okay, so I'm gonna go back into, let's see, I'm gonna merge these and I'm going to use my cloning tool to just blend these out. I think that should be better now. Again, not perfect, but let's see. Let's delete all of these. Much better. All right, so there is like a tiny little dimple I still see, but I am satisfied that this is going to give me a really good repeat. Yeah, and can confirm, it looks like the fabric that I have. All right, so now that we have the repeat that we want, we're going to need to create 3 versions of this file to save and export. Okay, so I was going to show you how to make a normal map and displacement map along with this general texture file, but I've learned that Photoshop has actually removed a lot of 3D functionality. So what we're just going to do is save this as a texture file first, quick export as PNG, save it as stripe texture. Okay, so that's going to be the image that we see. And then we're not going to generate a normal map because we are no longer able to, but we are going to, let's click on this, image, adjustments. We're going to go to black and white. Or you can go to, where's adjustment? You can also just go to desaturate. So let's see what those differences look like. And I like this one better. So I'm going to export this as well now as a PNG and set it to displacement. Okay, so we will be generating the normal map in Clo instead of in Photoshop. So let's go over to Clo. Takes a minute sometimes. All right. So I'm just going to make us a little rectangle. I'll make it 20 by 20. Okay, and then I'm also going to add just a little thing for us to drape over. So I'm going to add in this little shape, and I'm going to drape this on top so that we'll be able to see how the fabric feels and how it falls. All right, so again, this is just starting with the Clo standard fabric. So now is where we go in and change everything about it. All right, so if we click in the object browser into Fabric 1, here is where we will load everything that we want. So we're going to go down here to texture, and we're going to click this 4 square button. And in here, we're going to go find where we saved that file. We're going to add stripe texture. Okay, and now you can see that the texture is indeed showing up. And now that I see this on a larger scale, I actually want to go back in and fix these little wobbles because I don't love that in the repeat, but it's fine for right now. Now, excuse me. Now, because we couldn't make a normal map, here is where we will just increase the intensity, and this will help. You can see that it's made a little normal map here. You can't really see it too much, it's really small, but you'll see that it is actually making one to increase the highs and lows. And then we can actually add a displacement map because we made that. So we'll open that. And now let's hit simulate and see how we look. All right, so definitely looks like fabric. There's still a lot of things that we want to change about this. First off, we want to make this look and act like a woven. So if we go down here under property editor to physical property, remember we have all these presets of different types of fabric we can select from. So I know I want to be selecting a cotton canvas kind of fabric, but I don't know exactly which one. If I come in here, there's all of these things that we can still adjust, but I want to know more about like how much it weighs. So I'm actually going to go back into my fabric function over here in the library and just hover over to see what the weight is. Like this to me feels closer to like a 300 gram woven. That'll just take a little bit of expertise in understanding your fabrics to get that. Or if you have like an actual punch and you can weigh it, that's a good way to know, but most people probably don't have that handy. This heavy canvas is going to be far too heavy. Let's see. Cotton twill, 193. I think maybe the cotton canvas will be the closest because I don't want any stretch. Maybe the denim raw. Oh no, that'll be way too heavy. let's see, what else do we have? Yeah, I'm gonna go with the cotton canvas. Cotton canvas. So that is what I selected. So here's where you can also increase the stretch. If you do actually have stretch in your garment, in your fabric, and buckling, the weight, I'm actually gonna just increase this a little bit, and then the thickness here you can also increase. So I'm gonna hit render now. It's definitely acting more like a woven, but I actually want to increase this or decrease this particle distance to make it drape a little bit better. All right. Ooh. Oh my goodness. It is not wanting to drape over this right now, is it? Wow, this is giving me a headache. But this looks pretty good, I'd say. It's getting a bit of collision, just I think based on the stripe effect that I have on here, plus what I have it draped over. Why don't we, hold on, let me reset this. I'm going to just add in a little pinch point here, and I'm going to delete this, and we're just going to see how it drapes. Wow. Okay, I hit simulate, and because of the properties of the woven, it's actually not doing anything. That's crazy. But you can see when I'm manipulating it in the air, kind of how it's acting. It's definitely acting like the material that I have. So I think that this is a good enough execution of this material here. I would go back in and edit and adjust. There are also things that you can do for like lace. I have an example that I'm working on that I'll show you in class of how to save it as a transparent file so that you can actually make accurate renderings for things with like more with sheer texture in there as well. But so that's our little very quick demo on how to make your own fabric.